We have a head of a wolf, a body of a human being. We were made by a mad professor a long time ago. I love a lot of bands that were in the 90s from your country, Oasis, of course, Stone Roses, Chems, Prodigy, Must have been like the first time an Asian band, a band from Asia, even a Japanese band, sit on that stage. So, I mean, like we were like, whoa,
Hello,
lovely.
man with a mission. Thank you
Uh-huh.
very much for joining us on the Man Overboard podcast. Wanted to start with a pretty broad question of what's it like being a wolfman?
What's it like being a wolf man? So far it's okay with us, but sometimes when we travel overseas, we get caught. We get caught and be questioned a lot. So, I mean, besides transportating, it's all good. Yeah.
So, I was wondering if you'd be able to just quickly give people that might not know Man with a Mission a little bit of information on the background of you guys.
Okay, got it. Obviously, we look different from you guys. We have a head of a wolf, a body of a human being. We were made by a mad professor a long time ago. His name was Jimi Hendrix. I'm not really sure if he's the Jimmy that you guys know, but he was definitely good at shredding the guitar. A long time ago, we had nothing to do with music. We did all the evil deeds told by the professor, but he went too far. We were frozen one time in the Antarctic, but while we were frozen, as being the ultimate life form, we had the we had the superpowers, able which uh which we could listen to all the music that was going on all over the world. And it was a beautiful moment. I mean, like music really moved our heart a lot. So that's why if we had a chance to get out of the ice, we definitely had to do something with music. We promised us that. And today, 2010, we had a chance to get out of the ice. And from since then, we formed a band, and that leads us to today. It's a long backstory, so long story short, we're a weird kind of looking band that rocks a lot. Yeah, that's all you guys have to know.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for clearing that up. So another thing on the band itself, I wonder if you could explain the name Man with a Mission and where that came from.
And with a mission, well, it is the name that the professor told us, so I'm not really sure about the meaning of it. But you guys know a band, Bad Religion, and Bad
Yes.
Religion has a great album called Recipe for Hate, and the jacket of that album, they have wolves or wearing suits. And actually, the fourth song of Recipe for Hate is called Man with a Mission, We
Oh,
use that as the
fantastic.
opening SC a lot. So that is kind of a clue to what we are. Yeah.
I wanted to take it all the way back to your first EP, Trick or Treat. That had a very unique cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Oh.
And I wondered
Mhm.
if Nirvana are a band that you've always taken reference from and are a big inspiration for yourselves, and what it was like doing a cover of such a legendary track.
Yeah, it was a really challenging one. At first, I was really like nervous about doing that because I mean, like that band is a legend, and I believe that band is kind of sacred to a lot of people. But we were really proud of what we made out of. It was kind of a blend of the alternative rock, punk kind of spirit, but at the same time blending in some EDM kind of stuff. And it was a great challenge, but we're pretty proud of what we made out of. And as you said, definitely Nirvana is one of the biggest inspirations, the influences that we had. Actually, we are a big fan of the music that was going on in that era, the 90s. Not only alternative guitar rock, but like Nirvana, the Pumpkins, Rage Against the Machine, the Chemical Brothers, Oasis, whatever. The era, the music that was going on in the 90s was such a big influence to us. And I guess like we still inherit that, try to blend all the music that we've been listening to and try to hybrid it and make it sound modern at the same time. Yeah, that's probably the main genre, the main musical uh bottom line that we have. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So would you say Nirvana are quite high up on that list? Because I think you've also done a cover of Lithium for the Nevermind 20th anniversary.
Exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So speaking of the formation and when you guys came out of the ice in 2010, I
Uh-huh.
wondered if you could like let us know how it's been making music for nearly 15 years now, and
Mhm.
any changes that you've kind of seen in the industry because we've moved towards, streaming services away from
Yeah.
physical sales and that kind of stuff, and just, any observations that you had.
At first, 2010 was already a huge moment for like rock music. It was really changing a lot, I guess, like not only like as the sound, but a lot of people, as you said, like started to stick on streaming and stuff. CD sales all over internationally, especially, probably decreased a lot. But in Japan, it's still pretty huge, you know. It's really good for the bands in Japan. I still believe that like a lot of rock music in Japan is really growing even now these days, comparing to what we can hear internationally. And during that time, I mean, like making music, I guess we didn't change at all, you know. It's the world changes a lot, really rapidly, but like making music, the love of music should never change. So yeah, we're really just sticking on to what we want to do, yes, and what we want to experiment, and like I said, inherit at the same time. So I guess the making process and the motive, or yeah, the libido that we have has never changed. But yeah, it's always, uh, it's always like challenging. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested to learn actually because I know in the UK and America and stuff, streaming has completely taken over, and that's the main way that majority of music listeners consume their
Uh-huh.
music. However, I have heard in Japan it's different. What's that balance like for you? Do you still concentrate a lot more on physical albums, merchandise, etc., as opposed to streaming?
Yeah, well, actually, streaming is huge. You know, a lot of people use it, but at the same time, we probably stick a lot to making CDs. Still, yeah, making a full album. I guess we still love that culture. You know, like making an album that is a story with which
Mm.
contains like 13 or 14 songs, whatever. But that's the music that we loved a lot, and we still think that there is a chance to get people to understand or like interpret, love that kind of culture. So we're still sticking on with like making albums and stuff like that. But at the same time, I mean, streaming is huge. Everybody likes to choose one song and listen to it, and we take a lot of, a benefit from that as well. So it's always about balancing it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, speaking of making music in general, you've created a plethora of different songs for animes and video games. You've been Log Horizon, Seven Deadly Sins, Mobile Suit Gundam, and even Street Fighter V itself.
Yeah, yeah. Fine.
Did you kind of fall into doing that kind of stuff? Like, did you mean to ever start making music for that kind of media, or did it kind of just happen that way?
I guess it just happened that way, you know. But it is a great opportunity for us, like animation and game. That's not only huge in Japan, but it's really huge internationally. So it is a good collaboration for an artist to do something with that. But luckily, I am a huge fan of like animation and manga comics myself. To tell you the truth, I'm a total geek about those
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So yeah, it's always a pleasure and an honor to take part in that. And like I said, now these days, it's probably the most recognized, loved culture that Japan, initiates. So yeah, it is a huge challenge, opportunity for us, like collaborating with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And there was I found this out, which was quite surprising to me, that in Pro Evolution Soccer 2015, that
Oh
there's
yes, yes.
actually a hidden skin for you guys on there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm not really
How,
good at that in soccer, but yeah,
oh yeah, no, 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 no. I mean, me neither personally. But I mean, how does stuff like that come about? Did they just approach you and say, we're going to throw you in our game, or did you reach out to them?
Well, actually, I am a big fan of football. Well, talking about this in front of like people from the UK, that's quite a risk. But yeah, I am a huge fan of football, and probably they noticed that. Yeah, because I've been like, whenever people interview me, I've been talking like, which is your favorite sport? I always say soccer, football. all the time. So yeah, they probably noticed that, and yeah, we took the opportunity to take part in that game.
It's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like I've got to ask the question now. I know that you're a football fan. Of what is your favorite team? What team do you support?
Oh, okay.
I feel like our
It is
UK listeners will love the answer to this one,
okay.
dependent on who it
I
is.
mean, the sad thing is, it is a team in the UK, so it's
Mm.
quite risky to say this, but Liverpool. Yes, I love
Okay.
Liverpool.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, yeah,
You say you guys are okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we're from Leeds and both support Leeds, so there's no real rivalry there with Liverpool. But there could have been an issue there. We could have been putting the podcast short at 10 minutes if it was a different team.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But also, Tim mentioned there been a band for since 2010, so nearly 15 years now since you broke out the ice. And I wondered if during that time, touring the world, doing some amazing dates around the world, if there's any funny stories from the road you could care to share with us.
Since 2010, I mean, that's 15 years. There's a lot interesting
I can
that
imagine.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one time, it was when I was touring in Europe. I thought it was Belgium or somewhere like that. You know, when we tour, we take a bus all the way to each and every country, and it was like, I don't know. After the show, some of the fans, the domestic fans in Belgium, like catched us and said, "Oh, you guys were amazing. Can we can we buy you a drink or something like that?" And me and some of the staff said, "Okay, let's do that." And we just checked the departure time for the bus, and the bus driver said it was like 7 a.m. or something like that. So
Mm.
yeah, we just hit the pub and went back at 6 a.m. or something like that. But the bus wasn't there, and we were like, oh my God. I mean, we phoned the manager that was on the bus, but you know, obviously he was asleep, and I was calling him in like 6 a.m. in the morning, and he was, you know, sleeping, and I was like, man, well, where are you guys at? We can't find your bus and stuff like that. But he was like, he just woke up. So, and he probably thought that I was on the bus. And
Yeah.
he was probably thinking that why the hell is he calling me from the bus? Stuff like that. And he just, hung up immediately. And then 10 minutes after that, I call him once again. And I was like, hey, why the fuck did you hang up on me? And he's like, oh, I'm in the toilet, so I'll call you back. We did that kind of stuff like 2 or 3 times, and yeah, finally he recognized that we were not on the bus, but they were heading to Paris already, so we had to take a train, and yeah, at that
Wow.
time, the manager that was with me, it was his first time traveling all through the world, and he was like, "Oh God damn it, I'm lost." It's been, yeah, it was a really funny time.
Yeah, that sounds like a kind of scary experience, maybe when
Yeah.
you're stuck all the way in Belgium as well. I bet you were like, what is going on? But you have got your biggest headline show in the UK coming up at the Kentish Town Forum on the 31st of August. And I wondered how excited you are to come over to the UK and play in front of such a large crowd.
Yeah, I mean, 2,200. I mean, are we okay with that? That is a huge venue, you know. And it's an honor to take that opportunity. But always, I mean, performing in UK is such a challenging moment for me. As I said, I love a lot of bands that were in the 90s from the countries, from your country, Oasis, of course, Stone Roses, uh, yeah, a lot of the Chems, Prodigy, you know, all the bands that I loved came from the UK, and it's always inspiring me. You know, we respect the music, the history that you guys have in rock music. So it's always a bit nervous to confront that kind of, audience at the same time. But you guys really, the people in the UK really listen to the music really in a good way, seriously, take the music really seriously. It's probably because the pride that you guys have in the history of rock and roll, and it's always amazing to confront that kind of audience. So I'm gonna love it this time too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because in the past you've done quite a few different festivals in the UK. I know you've done a Download Festival and you've done
Yeah.
Reading and Leeds as well.
Right.
And I was watching an interview where you were saying that Reading is one of your favorite festivals
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the world. So playing
Uh-huh.
there must have been huge for you.
It did.
And so I was just curious if on the side of the UK artists that you really like, there's a question that we tend to ask every guest that comes on the show, which is for your 3 headline acts for a little festival that you might set up. So a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday night headliner. It could be anybody, dead or alive. It could be a super group. Just what would you go with?
Oh, who would I go? Who would I go with?
Yeah, like
so,
your
yeah.
dream festival.
My dream festival. You're talking about the lineup of the festival.
Yes, so three acts, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night headliner for your dream festival.
Okay. 3 acts. First of all,
I mean, it doesn't have to be 3. You can throw in a few smaller ones as well if you want to give any smaller artists a shout out.
Okay. First of all, it's always hard for me because 3 is not enough, but they actually declared that they're never going to make music anymore, but I just want them to still go on the road. So maybe Rage Against the Machine. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, we were really upset. We had tickets to see them actually headline at Leeds Festival the other year, and it was when Zach got injured, so we didn't end up seeing them. But they're one of my favorite bands. I've wanted to see them for a long time and never had the chance yet. I hope I get the opportunity to one day.
Okay, so we gotta make that one happen. Rage Against the Machine. Who else? The Smashing Pumpkins. Yes, Pumpkins.
Yes.
I would love to
fantastic.
see them.
Legendary.
Headliner. I'm not sure if this band comes from UK, but I never hear a person from UK really mention this band. But they're huge, and I really love this band. But I never hear you guys mentioned it. But Radiohead, you guys.
Oh, I love Radiohead. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
I was worried about that. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, really?"
No, I think they're absolutely mega. Radiohead, one of my favorite bands.
As I say, I think they're known to have some of the best albums in rock music history as well. And I mean, they have headlined Glastonbury and Reading and Leeds before, so I think they're pretty loved over here, at least to a level of being festival headliners.
So moving on to, I just wanted to quickly touch on the EP that you released recently, which was a collaboration with Milet, and then how well that's done because it's gone absolutely meteoric. It's so big now. I just wondered if you could give like a little bit of insight on how that track came together, how the EP as a whole came together.
First of all, the director of the animation, the Demon Slayer, it's a really huge animation throughout the world, and he had an idea for the song of the series to be a duet of a male artist and a female artist because probably the main characters was a boy and a girl, and he wanted to like express that for the main theme as well. And we were like on the list. We sent a couple of demo stuff, and he really liked the song that we wrote, and we took the opportunity. But like collaborating with Milet, she's a great singer. She has a great voice, a really great voice, and it wasn't our first time like collaborating together, so it really went well. I actually wrote that song, imagining her singing her part because I really love her style. Kind of really arranged the melodies, even the rhythm of the lyrics and stuff like that. Imagining how she would sing to it. Yeah. So it really went like easy for me, being a fan of her, writing the song. And as it was a huge animation, we were really aware of that. We were a bit nervous at the first time, a lot of artists made really mega hits with the theme song, stuff like that. But the first intro, the instrumental, the Japanese instrument, it kind of kicks out with a Japanese instrument. And I never heard like the other songs like using that kind of traditional Japanese kind of instrument. It really does fit the story because it's the era of like it's called Taisho era in Japan, but it really is traditional. It has a traditional atmosphere in that era. So I really thought that Japanese instruments, traditional instruments, should really fit. And I never heard other artists use it, so I kind of put some computer stuff, put some shamisen, that kind of stuff in that, and a lot of Well, I was really glad that a lot of listeners of other watchers of the animation really loved that. Yeah, it really fits in. And at first, I was nervous about like making the theme song, but we were pretty proud of what we made out of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan of Demon Slayer. So when we
Oh,
got the
really?
opportunity to do this interview, it was like, oh, fantastic. This is going to be great. So yeah, that's
Thank you.
really good.
No, you're correct though. A fantastic collaboration that works really well. I don't think anyone will question it, especially with those, as you say, unique instruments. If not other artists are doing that, then it makes yours stand out to a different level. And I wondered on collaborations, is there any artists in the world that you one day dream of collaborating with?
Oh man. You know, a lot of people ask that, but like the artists that I already like told you guys, like Rage Against the Machine and like
Mm.
the Pumpkins and stuff like that, it would be a great pleasure to collaborate it with those kind of people. But at the same time, I sometimes wonder that, talking to people, talking to those guys like man to man, one by one. I mean, that's probably quite a hard, quite a hard moment. Those guys should be difficult to work with. So I guess it's all about just listening to their music. I'm probably not collaborating with them. I would love to listen to what they make, but like working with them, that's another different story.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of some people say, never meet your hero. So I imagine it's in that kind of realm. Yeah. I wanted to touch on your newest single, which is I'll Be There, which originally was provided to, I may butcher the name here, Takuya Kimura
Oh, that's
in
right.
2022.
Yes.
And it was used as a theme song for the show Believe. And I was wondering if you could give us a bit of background on that track, but also a little bit more background on Takuya so that people that may not know him can have a bit more
Okay.
information.
First of all, as you noted, as you already said, we wrote this song for him. He's a really huge actor in Japan, a male actor in Japan, really huge. And he was making an album of his own, and he assembled a lot of songwriters to write songs. But at first, it was one of his songs. We wrote the song for him, but he had he was on this drama series that was going on recently, and it was his idea for us to self cover the same song, and it was yeah really great idea. I mean, it was really an honor to hear that from him. And yes, the song we already wrote it for him, so all we had to do is arrange it a little bit and sing along to it. Yeah, so the recording went quite smooth, but yes, as he is a well-known, really well-known actor in Japan, a lot of people reacted to the song a lot, and it's been a great pleasure, like hearing all those reactions and a little bit more of Kimura Takuya. Yeah, all I can say is he's like an icon actor of
Mhm.
the era. He's probably right now what 50 or something like that? No, 48, maybe something somewhere like that. Yeah, but yeah, he is the iconic idol and an actor of an era. So yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, so that must have been again a very big project for you to work on, knowing that that was why it was going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, like not only us, but all my friends, especially the girls, the friends were like, "Oh my God, you're writing a song." Yeah.
So speaking of legends, and just big artists and actors in general, you've toured with every band under the sun by the looks of it at this point. When bands come over to Japan, it seems like a lot of them choose to tour with you guys. You've toured with Enter Shikari on their
Oh,
Flash
yes,
for the
yes.
Color tour, which is my personal favorite album of theirs.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh.
Um, and then you've got Incubus, Rise Against, Jimmy Eat World, Stone Sour, and even Guns N' Roses. Uh,
Yes,
How
yes.
how do these kind of tours come about? Is it something that you guys seek out, or do they seek you out?
I guess I mean like the background is a lot of, when we try to reach overseas, it's always about like having an artist come to Japan, but at the same time, when we go to America or wherever, yeah, have a like a cool kind of stuff to do. It's like an exchange kind of tour kind of stuff. We talk about that a lot, but I guess like they probably hear a lot about like us going overseas a lot, and yeah, that's probably why we're on the list a lot. It's a great pleasure. It's an honor to take that. But yeah, we're luckily, they talk about us a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Some massive legendary bands. And I wondered, being from the UK, we hear so much about Japan and Japanese venues, the Tokyo Dome and stuff. We're both quite big wrestling fans. So I get
Okay.
quite a lot of view of a lot of the different arenas and stuff in Japan. And I
Uh-huh.
wondered on venues, if there's a venue in the world that you would love to play, what would be your dream venue? We've had some
Oh.
crazy answers.
Yeah, we had
Uh-huh.
somebody say there was somebody at the pyramids, which we didn't even know there was a stage there, which
Okay.
is absolutely insane. So literally
Oh, that's
anywhere in the
insane.
world.
Well, yeah, that is insane. Well, once Pink Floyd did something in the Italian ancient, place, so maybe someday somebody's going to play on the pyramids, but like a general venue,
Yeah,
it's,
anywhere, anywhere.
I mean, like Wembley Stadium. I mean, that is a
Mm.
legendary venue that I would really love to see. Well, I thought Baby Metal once did that, right? In the Wembleys.
I think they might have. Yeah, yeah, I do
I
remember
think, did
something
they
like that.
support Foo Fighters or something?
Yeah, potentially,
Yeah.
potentially.
Really? Man, I mean, that's legendary. That's
Yes,
big.
yeah, yeah. What a lineup.
And I asked about
Wembley.
the, oh, sorry,
No,
go
go
ahead. No, no, no.
Good. And we also, yeah, had the chance to perform on Red Rock Amphitheater. So we
Oh,
did that. That was
Fantastic.
cool. Yeah, Red
do you
Rocks.
know what? That's really funny because with the last episode we did, someone said that was their dream venue.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, a band in the UK called The Hunter said that that was where they would love to play.
Well, whoever that was, sorry, guy, we went there.
It looks like such a picturesque venue, and the fact that it's so open air as well, I feel like it'd be quite a nice atmosphere. The sound would bounce around quite well. I've never actually
Yeah,
been. It needs to be one that I check out.
it was really great. And the bass player, we toured with 311 in America, and yeah, the bass player actually said we're not really sure about it, but it must have been like the first time an Asian band, a band from Asia, even a Japanese band, sit on that stage. So I mean, like we were like, whoa, is that true? Well, I'm not really sure. That venue has a history more than 100 years or something like that. So I'm not sure if we're the first Asian band, but definitely it's probably the first time that a wolf was on the stage. So
100%.
Yeah, definitely. And I've asked quite a lot, or we've asked quite a lot about some of your favorite British bands, etc. But I wondered who are some of your favorite Japanese artists? Because a lot of our listeners might know you, but
uh
might not know a lot of other Japanese artists. I wondered who are some of your favorites,
oh
and
yeah,
who would you like
Japanese.
to give a shout out to?
Yes, one of my favorite bands from Japan, the Boom Boom Satellites. Yes, they are. Actually, the vocal already passed away. He's already died quite a long time ago. So the band itself uh is not going on anymore. But one player, the Boom Boom Satellites, is still doing a band called the Spellbound. Yeah, that is another amazing band. But the Boom Boom Satellites, who else? Japanese bands. Number Girl, yes. Yeah, one of my favorite. They're like, yeah, a really alternative guitar rock band. Maybe if you like Sonic Youth or like the Pixies, yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Definitely love Number Girl. Who else? Japanese bands, upcoming bands, but as I am a big fan of the 90s, the music that was going on in the 90s, they're still young, but I feel that they have the heritage of the 90s very well. They dig into the music and express it a lot, even in today. They're called Hitsuji Bungaku. Actually, two of them are girls and the drummer is a boy. They're a three-piece band, but yeah, if you like shoegazer kind of stuff, yeah, even like the alternative guitar rock scene that was going on in the 90s. If you love that, they're really making beautiful music, which you can definitely sense the heritage of the 90s. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'll be certain to check them out. And
Definitely.
thank you very much for your time. Man with a Mission will be back in the UK in August at Kentish Town in London. So make sure you make your way to that show. And yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.